Greetings and welcome to Die Dragon Die presents the Grimstone Chronicles sub-campaign that is a Master of Puppets Season 1 Episode 14. I am your DM and host tonight, Marty, joined by Ahmed and Mark. Ahmed, who has invaded this little campaign that Mark and I started. Actually, I started by myself. It was
You
invaded by Mark.
started by yourself.
It now belongs to me. Nice.
No, it's good. It's good hanging out with you guys. Unfortunately, we weren't able to do Titan's Gift tonight. Luke wasn't able to make it, and while we would have had enough players to play, the point of the adventure that we were at and that I had prepared was exploring the professor's family home. I did not have a chance to prepare anything else, so we will push that game to next week. What I do have prepared is some stuff for this game as we're trying to jam through. Yes, we are 6th level, so we did spend some time leveling up characters, and we can do a quick highlight of what transpires after the attack by Dagnara and Chagev's brother. Before we do a recap of the last two games, what's up with you guys? Let's do the how'd you do?
Things are good.
Because we are not just imagination machines, we are human beings.
My kids got into the online schooling thing, so I was really happy about that. It's kind of stressful because pregnant wife, infant, all that. So we're good. We're good that we're lucky that we were able to get in the online stuff. So that was good stress off our back.
That's cool.
Yeah. Sorry to say, that's cool or what's cool?
No, that's cool that you've got your house in order.
Because I wasn't gonna answer the other one, but yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, no, it's pretty good, and for a while I was telling my wife and my kids, clean up after yourself, because if you don't, you get ants. That's how you get ants. Today. Oh, Dad, Papa, look, oh. It's like 2 ants. I'm like, see? That's how you get ants. Anyways, I spent most of the day cleaning, but I told you so came out.
There was about a week at the beginning of summer where the ants were coming through the screen door. Like
they shouldn't be coming out now, right?
Right, yeah. There's this weird grass that they have at the top of my building.
There's
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure that it's got earth and there's grass. Like birds land in it all the time and they eat little bugs and that sort of thing. And there's little tiny ants that were coming through the screen door and they were going into the wall. I'm like, oh, this sucks. So I bought some. I spent about a week of like looking at where they are and attacking them and making sure there was no crumbs or anything on the floor in the kitchen. And then I'm like, I'll do this the poison way. So I got some ant traps and haven't seen an ant since. So it's all good.
Yeah.
Last thing you want is them expanding their macro hive into your house. Right?
I collect them and make sure they're still alive, yell at them really loud, and throw them out in the wild again. Tell the other ones to stay away.
There's an ant story from my childhood. So in our older home that we grew up in, remember the house on Marlborough, Mark?
Yes.
Well, the house on Marlborough had shag carpeting in the basement, and it also had these really really old cork panels on the walls.
I don't know. I don't like where this is going.
And it was like a 1.5 foot of cork that ran from ceiling to floor, and then there was a panel of wood, and then cork and wood and that sort of thing. It was a really weird sort of design, and it was only at 2 ends of the building. Well, I remember, I don't know, maybe I was 10. Always a basement dweller. I was downstairs watching TV, and after turning off the TV, I'd hear this weird crackling noise, just this ever so slight kind of like constant crackling noise. And, it's a basement, so you'd encounter bugs or whatever, and you just, little spiders or ants or whatever. But I complained about the crackling noise, and my parents came down. They're like, what? There's nothing, Marty. There's nothing. Well, finally, I guess it reached a tipping point where it was like, no, there is a bug problem in the basement. So we narrowed down where the crackling noise was from. My grandfather at the time, I think, took a screwdriver and tapped the wall, and the ants had built a hive or like a nest between the two wood, between the 2x4s kind of in the wood, and they had dug into and behind the cork panel, and it was like 1.5 feet, 2 feet of earth and ant hive and and bugs that came out. So yeah, ants.
That's an ant problem.
That was one of those, like, you see, I heard them nibbling on. There were so many of them that I heard them nibbling on the cork. It kind of made this little bit of a sound. Of course, it was easy to clean up because that's all where they were. It was like masonry block after that. So we basically got a vacuum cleaner, vacuumed all the ants and all of their eggs and all their weird little tunnels and the stuff that they made of it. But it was like, we vacuumed it up in about an hour. There was no more ant. We bought some traps and whatever, and then took that cork crap down. But it was like some like quick building material that somebody used back in the 70s to finish the basement, right? Yep. So that was ants. Yeah. Anyways, I don't know why. Yeah, well, I know why. You triggered the ant neuron in my brain.
I brought it up.
Yep. Mark, what's going on with you?
Pathfinder Kingmaker has consumed my life.
As I knew it would.
I am now on my 4th run because every time I'm like, I can do better.
You haven't even got to the kingdom building part, have you?
No, I got like this close. I got to the I became the Baron, and I was about to go talk to people about running a kingdom. Like, no, I can do this better. I started over.
That's funny. At least they weren't wasps. Yeah, that's true, Fox.
What are you playing now? Like, what's your build?
Okay,
main build?
So the build I'm playing now, it's a half orc 2-handed fighter.
Yep.
But I made sure, like, I jacked his strength up, and he's got a couple dump stats. His con's decent, and he's got an int of 11 because I plan on taking at least a few levels of alchemist. And hey, if you're gonna do that, you may as well make some use of extracts.
Yeah, shield, basically.
And
shield for every fight.
Shield, long arms, expeditious retreat, whatever.
I forget. Did they have long arm in this game?
I'm not sure. I haven't. The highest I've gotten is 5th level. So it's the highest I got.
Long arms is a first.
Apparently, that's what Fox does. He just keeps on remaking characters and never finishes the game. I've gone all the way to like very close to that end dungeon and went, nah, I don't feel like doing that. Like that's how unappealing the end game is in the game. But yeah, I have to remake my characters in that game because the 2 mods I was using don't work with the latest update. So my game files are all fucked. And I'm waiting for.
Yeah, part of my problem with the game is I don't know what feats are available like later on, and it doesn't show you.
Yep.
Like I was running like the first 2 times I did, I was running with the clerics they give you, unbeknownst to me, because I don't level. I'm very quick to level things. I don't like to look. I want to get back to the game. That selective channeling was an option. I'm like, how? So I made my own cleric. I'm like, okay, here's a cleric who can heal a lot, can do a little bit of fighting, and can heal in the middle of battle.
Summoning is very strong in this game. You should take the skill focus. Like, want to talk about hidden skill focus conjuration, so that it opens up augmented summoning, and then it opens up superior summoning.
Skill focus conjuration. What the hell?
It is the prereq for augment summoning, which makes your summoned guys strong, and then supreme summoning adds an additional creature when you summon more than.
Oh my gosh!
So that is how you turn your cleric or a druid into like a summon machine, and summons are really great ways of keeping enemies at bay.
Yes, I've noticed that because they've used that against me.
Yeah. So that's one kind of hit that could be really hidden. You like how many times do you
I,
take
I
spell
would not
focus?
have thought to say skill focus summon.
So that's another tactic with a cleric. So you could the last tactic. So the cleric build that I really like is one that gets an animal companion that can use a bow and that summons.
That's pretty strong.
The bow, okay, she's doing a little bit of damage. I usually take a cleric of like a Raztil or an elven cleric of Sarenrae.
Saren is a good, yeah.
For all the healing and stuff, healing
Mm-hmm.
fire, sun, and slap a bow on them, and then you take selective summoning right away, then spell focus, conjuration, and then you go up that little conjuration feat path,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, it's pretty solid for I stand there and heal the party afterwards. You got some
Mm-hmm.
combat heals, so yeah, and then an animal companion to boot.
Yeah.
If you go to the route of taking the animal domain, and then you take that 1 feat boon companion to make your animal companion better, that on vanilla of the game is a pretty good mercenary, or even probably a pretty good character.
Mm-hmm.
I find Tristan really, really weak.
Yes,
as
so do I.
as in he is so glass.
Yeah, he gets
He's
hit.
a
And
glass healer, and
and he falls.
there's not many ways to boost his AC very well. So I'm sure you can get into some weird multi-class, but yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, that is my main healer, and if I'm hacking Gestalt, which I have been doing, then you stack Bard onto that mix, and you have your Cleric Bard. Basically, you create DD.
Yeah.
That's DD's build.
That's DD.
With or without animal companion. Anyways, okay. What did I get hooked on last 48 hours? Crusader Kings 2. It's a free game on Steam. It's actually pretty fun. But I found a mod. I saw somebody on YouTube playing a mod that basically does Faerun, or the Forgotten Realms, in Crusader Kings 2. And basically, once I saw that, I said, I have to play this.
That's
so
cool.
so in the last 20 hours, I've been learning how to play Crusader King so I can enjoy this mod. And then I just discovered the game. Today Crusader Kings 3 came out. So I will avoid it for a little bit, but I will continue to, maybe for the rest of the week, play Crusader Kings 2 and learn how to actually learn the depth of the game. The last playthrough, I got military down pat, but I don't think I got how to use the counselors right, because all of my nobles hated me, all of them. All like irrevocably constantly on the verge of rebellion, hated me. I was creating the tyrant queen, and not the well loved. She didn't want to share. That was the problem. I couldn't find someone for her to marry as well, which is pretty cool. No, it's
they all hated you.
it is a surprise. I don't know how I missed this one, or it just kind of got lost in the 4X kind of non-civ ancient battle type games that are out there. But this one tickled the nerd cockles a little bit. So you're playing an evil cleric right now. Channel negative energy damage. Living as a strong AOE. Yeah, it's pretty good. Is there a way of creating someone who could channel both in that game? I don't think so. Because Chaga in this current game,
Yeah, you can switch.
Can switch positive to negative with a feat, and I don't remember if you could do that in the other game. I don't think so.
That's too bad, because I really wanted to do that.
I think, yeah. think Paladin's the only other way you'd get channel, and it's eating your lay on hands.
Yeah.
I'd have to think a little bit deeper about that one. Cool. Why don't we do a recap of the last two games, as it was the mini game that Mark ran. 2 games ago is called Bold Holdings. Alistair feeds strange potions to the party and to a neighboring swordsman named Grackle Rovin. In their sleep, the party appears before the 4-armed hag named Ursuline. She commands the party to attack a rival coven of hags before they can turn into some sort of singular entity. The party tracks down the hags to their lair in Bold Town and launch an assault on the subterranean lair. Last game was called Ear Crickets. The party explores the subterranean lair of the hags, encountering some monstrous guardians and vermin within. Back at the tower, one of Chaga's brothers comes to pay a visit. And we sent Dagnaron packing
I couldn't believe them.
with the heads of his 2 lackeys in our crappy cart, and I think we have this group has basically taken possession of a nice carriage. Let me see if I've got
Yes, as I
a
recall.
carriage token from the Dune family stables. This one looks creepy.
That's cool.
Or do we want something more fancy?
It's fine.
I don't know. I think the first one looks a little more. My family worships Satan. So.
Perfect.
We've gone to the used carriage lot. Which one, guys?
Oh, I like
All done.
I like Grizzly Carriage, the
Grizzly carriage?
first one you put up.
Okay. I think I might even be able to find the matching horses. There we go.
We give them our scarred up nags too.
Well, yeah, somebody's got to pull the carriage, right?
Yeah.
So it is a Dune family carriage. Awesome. I think at that point in time, we realized that we had enough XP for 6th level, and the party did some downtime. We did most of the decisions of what had happened during downtime offline, just because it's kind of boring to watch. But we could do a quick summary. Following the attack of Dagnaron, there was some training for 6th level. We're going to do a cutscene for the training, because most of the party trains by visiting a bound lich in the basement of the Belifont Tower, and they're willing to learn from the lich, but they're not willing to help the lich escape. Which is an interesting dynamic. They did some trading some of their goods. Los ended up for the next. They did about a month of downtime. We rolled randomly to see how long they would had. Los spent most of the time idle in his funerary urn, as he is a ghost. Chaga trained and did some trading. Let's do a quick recap of what levels look like. So Chaga is now a Fighter 2, Cleric 4, Sorcerer 6. Not much to report on the way of feats. He took Fly as a spell, and he now has a page of spell knowledge for Featherfall, just in case he fails. I think between that and his Mirror Image and See Invisibility, he's ready to go for the next kind of tier of adventuring. He spent his money, speaking of channeling, on Chaga's Halo of Darkened Skies, which is a phylactery of negative channeling. So even though his cleric's a couple levels behind, he kind of made up for it by spending all of his money into the Halo. Given that the party does now have access to a crafter at 75% market price, through their dealings with Nighthorn of the Briars, situated in the Sylvan Acres. Okay, so it was Chaga. Then he spent some time cooking. Like he's actually gonna like practice cooking. And I'm gonna give him some rolls, or I'll just take average. His cooking's plus 13. Take out a calculator here. Which means he takes 10, gets 23 times 4 days, divided by 2. He makes 46 gold cooking for the next 4 weeks. And that is why you guys adventure and don't have professions. It would take forever for you to acquire the wealth and magic that you currently do have.
These just kill things.
Okay,
we fight things with wealth.
Ghost and Junker, after the attack, they do some trading, some rune trading. Ghost and Junker, I believe, now have runes on their bows. Ghost's bow is now a +2 frost composite longbow.
Nice.
And Junker's bow is a +1 shock short bow. So they spent a lot of their money on putting runes and upgrades to their bows. Not too. Oh, I guess Junker had some things with leveling up. So now that he's completed his 2-level dip into Rogue, he has continued to go up in Alchemist. He took Preserve Organs as his Alchemist discovery at 4th. He has now, as of last level, but he has the melee archer trait as well. So the two of them could be in the same square and be considered flanking an opponent with their bows at the range of 10 feet. I thought that was neat. Not too much else. Oh, 2nd level spells for Alchemist also came at 4th, which is, you'll see a bit of a jump from Junker. And Ghost, Mages 6 are still 2nd level spells. Not a feat level. On his rogue side, he took Bleeding Attack. So when he does sneak attack, people will bleed, which I thought was pretty gross.
Nice.
Okay, and then they spend a lot of time scribing 2nd level spells, and then the two of them are going to spend some time scouting for things like future jobs, and what I mean by jobs like thieving, robbery. We coined the phrase while we were doing the pregame chat, rat burglary. Instead of cat burglars coming through your windows, they come through the sewers. Rat burglars. All right, Barnabas.
Barnabas started going up in Sorcerer again.
What is Barnabas's level? What is this mess, Mark?
Okay. As of finishing trading, he is a Sorcerer for Alchemist, Mind Chemist 2, Bard, Chronicler of Worlds 6.
Okay. What did you have to retrain?
He's retraining Sorcerer to an Archetype Seeker.
Ah, so you're kind of like a rogue.
Yes, so he's going to lose, his 3rd level power.
Your bloodline power, yeah?
Yeah, in exchange for tinkering, which makes him like a rogue. Also with, so he'll be able to detect and disarm traps as per a rogue. Also with the 6th level of Chronicler of Worlds, his version of Versatile Performance, Scrivener's Versatility, he gets a new one, and he's taking Disable Device. So he'll be able to use his linguistics in place of his Disable Device to disable those traps.
It is the language of death.
Nice. I read a book on it. It's
Nice.
not hard.
Weird. Okay.
Yeah.
And then what's this tattoo thing?
Oh, he is getting a tattoo applied to give him a +5 competence bonus to linguistics and perception. It is expensive.
Nice.
Got it. So basically, we opened up your body as canvas for magic items at a slightly increased rate.
Slightly. It's expensive. Goddamn.
Yep.
Double the cost.
It's 50% more.
50% more. It's kind of like adding a secondary power to an item, and then it's hard.
Yeah. So imagine the cost when you add a secondary power to the item and then make it a 10. That's what I did.
Nice.
Got it. This is the circlet of comprehension.
Yeah, that's just what I called it.
Do you want to move it into the tattoo column?
Oh, okay, sure, we'll do.
Yeah.
Fuck, he keeps doing this.
Okay, that's neat. And then what did you retrain? There's a feat that you retrained?
Oh, he's retraining combat caster to trader.
What does trader do?
It gives you a +2 bonus to appraise and a +2 bonus to linguistics.
Oh, trader, not traitor.
Yeah. And yeah, trader, yes, not traitor.
I see. So you've turned Barnabus into like a super trap finding rogue.
Yes. He's also going to buy some Masterwork Thieves tools, and we're going to have a look at that top room, I think, after he's done everything.
Okay. We haven't got to that. You can buy the Masterwork Thieves tools. That's fine. We haven't got to the point where you're looking at
Understood.
The top. Barnabus, the ultimate skill monkey. Alistair trained for 6th. He did some rune trading. He took that particular rune off an item and put it onto his kukri. So I think it's cruel. I think it was the rune. Yeah, he's got a +1 cruel kukri, which gives him, which has a chance of giving frightened creatures or panic shaken sickened. And then when he uses it to kill or knock unconscious a creature, he gains 5 temporary hit points. I thought it was a neat power for him to take. He probably wouldn't have bought it if it wasn't there, but you guys found a cruel weapon last game. And they needed a bunch of face punch training because he's got a 10 con, and when you roll like crap on your hit points, yeah, he's been doing push-ups and sit-ups and running around and just being rambunctious. I think he did five 3-day blocks of face punch training.
I thought you were going to say he was misbehaving so much that he needed smack, stop it, boy.
When we say face punch, that was Adam's word for
toughen
hit point training.
Hit point training, where you train to get hit points up to your maximum value.
And Adam just pictured it as you stand there and you let people punch you. It's like,
it's kind of like that, just stronger through micro fractures. And some sort of weight training. Attack by Dagnarin. Okay, so Grackle trained. He traded. What did you craft, Ahmed?
Oh, so we crafted the following. The Slotless Swordsman's Flare Blue Scarf and the White Lace Kerchief. One of them allows you to, for 1 minute, use a basically long arms, and the next one allows you to use once around. You can identify an unseen, like invisible target. You can also use Panache to use them. To fuel that, but you get at least 1 use per day.
Okay, I'm just gonna add into the item just to remind you at the front. I'm just gonna put held because you have to.
They have to be in my offhand.
They have to be in your hand to use. Okay, cool.
So with quick draw, I can do that though.
Quick draw. Raw, quick draw, you draw a weapon as a free action instead of a move action. We have we have slowly eroded this description to include wands and rods and things. This is a Swordmaster's flare. What the fuck is a flare?
It's a scar. Basically, it's clothing and garments. Thank you, Fox. Good finds. Even if it costs a move to
it's a
grab, it's fine.
scarf or a glove or a sash that you kind of have in your hand that you're whipping around.
Oh God.
Can you quick draw flare? I guess so.
Nice.
They still have a swift action to use, so that still takes up one action, but I'll allow you to take them out as part of quick draw.
Yeah. Well, one is
quick draw
literally
is
around
also
his
not.
neck, so he just pulls it
Yeah,
off.
yeah. That's that. They're readied. They're not stowed deep into your equipment. They are
Right.
readied for combat. But I will allow you to quick draw these things. They still have the swift and our conversion. Our conversion to
To an
3
action.
action systems. Swifts either become freeze or they stay as a single action. I'm gonna say because these are like enacting a power, you still have to
Activate it.
do a little dance with a lace handkerchief or slap someone with a glove or something.
That's funny stuff.
Yep. Okay, so that's good. Thanks for calling
for
those
his
out because
for his rogue talent, he took camouflage,
which is
excuse me.
bonus to stealth, I think.
Yeah, it's a +4 bonus to stealth for a specific environment. I think it has to be outdoors or something like that. But currently, he's running around with a +23 stealth, so this would give him a 27.
Okay, well,
Pretty.
just double check what the conditions are on that stealth bonus on that rogue talent.
It's an environment. It needs to take an hour to prep, but it has to be. I think it has to be an out.
Oh, he puts on a ghillie suit, basically.
It's a ghillie suit, yeah. Camouflage from the surrounding
Mort
foliage.
looks like he did some hit point training and rune trading. Is there a rune now on your horrible hammer? Or
On his
horrible
Tetsubo, yeah, he's got a +1 on his Tetsubo, and he upgraded his resistance item to a +2.
Nice. Cool. That's good. Let's back up a little bit. As you guys have taken advantage of the Lich for training, did you do the same thing for 6th level?
Yeah, Tony
Okay.
says no.
So you take advantage of not only the Lich's knowledge, but the
Library.
but the resources of his tower in order to effectively get free training. And I want to just put all of you kind of on the map just to illustrate how ridiculous this is. As you go down into the dungeon and sit around like a bunch of school kids, the Lich that is that through the contraption that might have killed him and supplied the energy for him to become a Lich is still binding him into the spot where you found him. This setup is still here, and you have refused to not only touch him but help him in any way. I think there is by this point an understanding that eventually you would help him. You have done a job for the Lich before, and he, in a very immoral way, begins to teach you the tricks of your arcane crafts. The reason why you can all train from this Lich is that he's an arcane caster, and each of you has some arcane tradition in your training. For example, Mort is a alchemist, Barnabus is an alchemist and a bard and a sorcerer, Chaga is a sorcerer. Belifont used to be Chaga's master. He's the one that helped him understand his psychic bloodline. Los is a sorcerer. Alistair is a witch. Ghost is a magus, and Junker is a vivisectionist, a class of alchemist. So each of you have things to learn from Belifont, the Dread Moth. You do notice that the robe and the clothing that he was wearing has been completely eaten away by moths, and there is a constant like swarm of moths around his head. I use the word swarm not as a technical game term, but just a descriptive term. Um, they're annoying. They land in your pages. You're pretty sure that if left here, would eat away the scrolls and spell books that you had brought down here. Do you have any specific questions for Belifont, as he likes to be called now, as opposed to Belifont? Grackle, you are training at your family's dojo. There are enough. There's enough equipment and utility and space there for you to do training. We're going to say that you can train for free at your dojo up into a certain level. Just like there's a limit of the knowledge that this lich has, there's probably
There's a limit.
There's probably a limit that your family, after retreating from the southern lands in disgrace, in defeat, there's probably a limit to how much they can do. 6th level is good for now. Hopefully there's still more to learn. There's definitely more to learn from the lich.
Okay.
Barnabas, how do you feel about learning from this man who's completely went off his rocker?
How does he feel about learning from him?
Mm-hmm.
He has no. To him, knowledge is knowledge, and whether it's good or evil, it depends on what you do with it, not where it comes from.
I might remind you of our arrangement.
You really don't like the way he clicks his jaws together, but he's got no lips to keep his jaws from or his mouth from softly closing. You're pretty sure he just does it because.
Okay. Yeah, I've not forgotten our arrangement. Don't worry. We're having some issues. We need to find some books on your particular what you've done here.
He does have articulation with his bonds for his neck, so he can turn his neck around and look around, but he just can't move very far beyond that. And there is a binding around his neck as well. Kind of a choker that leads to a chain.
I do not believe that you are ready to face her yet.
Is he referring to the elf or face who?
An old companion of our.
Oh, well, we're talking about the elven lass.
Yeah.
Yeah, we saw your nemesis, shall we say, had some carvings of the lot of you.
They did not understand our genius.
Oh, clearly. And such.
Ghost has to cover his own snout to keep from snickering. The lich is tied via chains to a wall. There may be a counter argument to genius.
Perhaps if you were to loosen these chains, I might take care of her myself.
Is an option.
Yes, it is an option.
Thing is, we don't want to rush this because they are binding you, obviously, but they are also providing your undead life force. So there is a possibility that if we remove the chains, we remove the conduit to the energy required to sustain your maleficence. Well, of course, you already know that, so just repeating.
Yes, a chance. He just stares at you, not needing to breathe, not needing to blink. Well, he can't really blink anymore. He's pretty sure his
Cutting away.
his eyelids are gone. But you can tell he's looking at you as the two green lights for pupils, or iris. Iris is.
But you're all right. It is time we start making plans and figuring out how to get you out of here. It's not right you being stuck here like this.
It is not. For now, I shall be patient and teach you the things that you need to know so that you may go and destroy her.
Much appreciated. Believe me.
Yes, I have all the time now.
That you do. Elf and not, you'll outlive that one, won't you?
He doesn't like the mention of the elf thing.
Okay. Barnabus will avoid that subject from now on.
What do you need to know about your craft?
Well, seeing as we're getting into for myself in particular, we're getting into how shall we put it? It's not quite adventuring, but it feels a lot like it. We do run into the occasional trap and whatnot, and maybe some guidance on how to deal with these things. I mean, Junker and Rat are great, make no mistake, but more the merrier.
Okay. The Lich talks about all sorts of ways that spells can be made into traps.
Barnabas is taking notes.
Yep. It seems that. Give me a sense motive.
I'm very good at that. Now, I haven't retrained feats yet, right?
No,
At this point?
this is fifth level. This is fifth level while you were training.
5th level while training. Okay, so hang on, I gotta do some quick math because my sense motive is based on my linguistics. Linguistics jumped up a bit.
Stupid.
Barnabas.
I read a book on your behavior.
I read a book on voice tones and facial. Yeah, that was the first versatile or version of versatile performance that he took was sense motive.
Nice.
Okay, linguistics. He didn't have that. So -7, -6. So plus 22. 41.
He talks about magical traps, but there are a couple of traps that he talked about in much too much detail for him to be telling you about them. You're pretty sure he's telling you about traps that he's either made or had a hand in making.
Okay. So maybe something like what's upstairs then.
The first trap was a specialized glyph of warding that does necromantic damage, or that does like negative energy damage.
Okay. That's not fun.
And then the second one, he talks about a summoning trap. Give
Okay.
me a spellcraft check.
Okay, just a sec. Spellcraft -1. Wait, sorry. Fifth level. 19.
Uh,
Oh, hang on a sec. I'm gonna add a D6 to it. So, 25.
15 plus double spell level. If you see it cast, the DC is, and then if you don't see it cast, yeah, you're on the verge of understanding what he's talking about. He's talking about a very powerful summon monster.
Okay.
He's leaving big chunks of it out of the description.
Mm-hmm.
And he often says, but we're getting ahead of ourselves. Like he kind of lords over you that he knows many more circles of spells than you do.
Yeah. I took a hit to be smart at stuff.
You would not be my first choice for apprentices. But I suppose you will do.
And I am most grateful for your generosity with your time. Now, I think we've got a book in the library about bindings. And negative energy. So I'm going to go have a look and a gander at that before we make any formal plans here.
When you are capable of casting fourth circle spells, should you achieve such a minor milestone, then you will be ready to face her.
Okay, full circle.
In your numbers. And perhaps there will be survivors to enjoy the spoils.
He's looking at the group like, fucking hell.
All right, you guys finish like 5 days of lectures. They're called the Dead Talks.
Dead talks. Nice.
They just drag in liches and undead, wake them up to give a lecture. Oh, that's so stupid.
In my day.
And then you guys spend a lot of time going to and fro, selling your items. Crackle, you spend time after training at the Belifont Tower, as it's right next door, but especially as they show you some of the magical shops that they've found. You ended up showing Barnabus where to get magical tattoos, as you know that there are hob artists that do that in the foreign district. And at the height of the summer season, easily a month goes by without anyone disturbing you at the tower. It was a pleasant month. You had lots of money to spend. Jaga had time to do cooking. At the end of the month, let's see, Los had settled into his funerary urn. He kind of popped out less and less as time went on. Chaga was trying out new recipes and ended up selling it out of the front of the tower until Alistair started shooting some people that going down the wrong side of the road. He ended up finding some nearby restaurants and taverns to sell some of his baked goods at. Ghost and Junker ended up kind of scouting around the city, like they're looking for their next adventure. Not that they've left you guys; they're just looking for easy marks that are worth the trouble. Barnabus, you've been spending some time going back and forth each day to finish your tattoo. Alistair, when he's not being creepy in the tower, has been slipping out to exercise and be a general nuisance. Grackle, we're going to say that it's been a few days since you've visited the tower, and you just seem to be stopping by more and more often.
Mm-hmm.
Mort's been drunk for the last few days, and you guys are at the tower. It just was Grackle, Barnabus, and Chaga.
Okay.
Oh, back again, Grackle.
It is good to come back. See, no one has tried to kill you while I was away.
No, it's been rather quiet.
Just in time for some pastries. Chaga's made some blueberry tarts, raspberry tarts, and blackberry tarts.
This is definitely hurting my training.
Oh, nonsense. Put a little meat on your bones. You'll be able to hit that. You'll be able to swing that hobgoblin blade of yours better. Put your weight into it. Chaga wiggles around a little bit.
And he starts to explain. He's like, just bring the tarts, please.
Yeah, Chaga's already popped one of them into his mouth as he was bringing the tray over. The smell of it wafts down into the wafts throughout the tower. It kind of summons some people who were still in the tower. Alistair comes down and grabs a small tray that Chaga knew he was going to take anyways, and goes running back up to his room. Even sort of a hungover Mort comes in.
It's just
puts a bunch of the tarts into his feed bag, his disgusting feed bag.
mashes it all up.
Mashes it up a little bit. Nearly steps on the cat named Dog, that gives him an evil look. Mort tries to kick at it. It's good at scampering out of the way of things, but it makes this horrible like sound. Mort goes back to his bench. Or have you reclaimed the animal pen now that the...
Well, he's going to reclaim the animal pen now.
Okay. Now that
the
hippogriff has died?
Yeah. You reclaim the animal pen. And I'm going to spend 10 gold pieces because he went and splurged and got himself a bench for the animal pen.
Well, we have the technology to add a box. Where's the benchmark?
Oh, it's right across the back here, like right here.
Yeah.
There we go.
There
Mort's bench. Had his name engraved in it and everything.
Sure.
By engraved, he took a knife and carved his name.
Okay. You guys were enjoying some whiskey and tarts. Apparently, Barnabas just drinks whiskey with everything.
If there were such a thing as cereal at this point, I'd go with cereal.
There's a knock at the door.
Your pies are fucking popular.
I will go and check who it has arrived.
Mort! Get the fucking door! Fucking hell.
By this point in time, your door has been repaired. I don't remember anyone spending any money on the door, so it's just a wooden door.
Piece of wood,
like
a wooden door. Yeah.
No, It's been actually repaired, but it hasn't been upgraded to anything like an iron door or anything like that. Same with the window.
We will be doing that.
Yep.
Shortly, I think.
So Grackle, strange that these guys don't want to answer the door at their own place, but you go.
But you know what? We've answered the door enough times and not like the results.
Okay.
Maybe he'll get lucky.
Crackle, are you opening up the slit to see who it is, or?
Yeah.
Okay. Courier. And
Come up and down.
there is a letter. It's in kind of like a heavy brown paper envelope that has like a little tie around it and a button. The button actually might be a seal.
All right. I'll give him 2 silvers.
Okay.
I don't know what the going rate is for.
No, you kind of just stick 2 silvers through it. Oh, and he stumbles and the courier is catching a couple of like picking the silvers off the ground and thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day. What is the name on the?
Okay, well, first, on top.
Did he say who it's for? Yeah.
He did not. He on top of it there is like a leaflet that says the Wingfoot Couriers.
Huh.
It's kind of like a stylized sheet. It looks like it was like pressed on like a printing press, and it's got some like offer on it and a slogan, something along the lines of "Our couriers have wings," kind of thing.
Yeah. Okay, so that's just like it's a pamphlet.
Yeah, it's a pamphlet. It's how it's speaking to how trustworthy they are, and they're quick because their couriers have wings.
There's no other marking on the package.
The package itself is just a seal. Knowledge local or knowledge arcana?
You don't know who you're dealing with.
Knowledge I have sword.
I do have a local. Hold on. I do have a local.
Knowledge sword.
18.
This is the University of Arcana.
Barnabus, I believe this is for you. There's a seal from the University of Arcana.
That's probably telling me I'm fucking fired.
Well, this line of work is profitable, yes. He will put it on the table. Should we back away, or is it safe?
Well, that makes 2 of us, and Barnabus, says Chaga. My family knows that I'm squatting here, and apparently your university knows that you're here as well. I suppose we could only be hidden for so long.
Well, it's not like we've been that quiet about what we're doing.
No, we did spend about, I don't know, 20,000 gold pieces worth of...
Yeah, it's bound to raise some eyebrows in the magic community. Yeah.
Chugga like tips your hat down over your ass.
Oh, okay. It's still sensitive.
It's not like you have a disguise.
What? I shaved my fucking head. What do you want?
It's not like I could disguise very well either.
Here's what he is. Barnabus cast detect magic and looks at it.
There is a tiny bit of magic. You actually see the sigil of the annex of the Arcana University where you live. You know that specifically that this is not from the main office, but from the annex where you worked.
The High Crest branch?
Yep.
Or campus?
Yeah, the High Crest campus. Yep. It's typically called the annex, as in it's just a...
Okay.
It's a weird name for it, because annex usually means like something that you added onto, whereas this is where it kind of started, but, you know, details.
It's one of those we'd prefer to pretend that this is.
There was probably some time where the new university was created, and there was probably some power struggle between where Wizard Labs were, and then because
Yeah.
you're in a poorer end of town, you kind of lost out.
Barnabus cracks the seal. Then.
Okay, yeah, there's a slight fizzle of magic as your detect magic is dying down, and it is an invitation from your boss. I'm saying that with kind of a question mark because you don't know what your current
status.
Your current status is. It's been a few months. You had left for your service to the Urncaster family during the winter of this year.
Probably took a leave of absence.
And it's now the middle of summer. So half a year has gone by without really conversing with your employer.
All right.
The name of the headmaster. Let me just grab a few names, and you could maybe put this on. The headmaster's name is Millennius Bleak. You doubt that you will ever see a different headmaster of the Annex, as Millennius Bleak is a elf.
Okay.
And you're pretty sure that they'll just keep him employed at the Annex until
don't shoot for that job.
The end of time.
Yep.
He's also a very, very cynical, almost to the point of nihilism.
Okay.
Like anything joyous and elven about him was long ago removed, probably via magic.
All right. What are they asking?
It's an invitation to give me a second, I need a name here. What to call it? It's a invitation to a meeting at the Founders College, which is a particular building where the headmasters and the masters have their offices.
Okay.
And actually their dorms. Wizards tend to not want to wander far from their experiments and their research. Mm-hmm. It's basically where the faculty. It's like a faculty building, library, study. It's where your office is. It's also where you could sleep if you wanted, if you didn't have a home. So it's basically an invitation to the Annex, and it says in regards to the fate, you don't like how this is going, of a fellow professor named Professor Hallmark Strom.
And what are my feelings towards Professor Hallmark Strom?
I think given that you have a bit of an adventurous streak, you may have patterned a little bit of your life after him, at least as of late. Give me a knowledge local or knowledge arcana about Hallmark Strom.
I will do a knowledge arcana, I think, and take 10.
Okay.
Giving me a 36.
Hallmark Strom was an arcane caster.
Mm-hmm.
He blended multiple arts. He started out as an explorer and an adventurer, and later in life became a scholar and professor. He spent time with a group of inquisitors as their magical as a specialist for them, one
Okay.
that knew about magic and dark arts, and he traveled with them via ship for many years as they pacified southern lands, which really meant going into really dangerous spots and, well, in your mind, looting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Going into very dangerous spots and battling the evils that were out there, the things in the edges of the world that even the more civilized areas of the Hob and the Nagaji forgot.
Okay.
His office is filled with all sorts of archaeological artifacts and weird magics from the more savage and wild areas uh, of Volcanica. He later then spent his life after adventuring writing and talking and lecturing about it. It's kind of like a wizarding Indiana Jones after he settled down.
Okay.
Your book about blending the book about traps, there's likely a book about his adventures that's less scientific, less technical, and more romantic.
Mhm.
That might have given you first the idea, although you'd never admit it to scholarly circles, of going up in this seeker path. You're pretty sure he was similar.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Uh,
Chaga.
he knew a lot. He was pretty pragmatic, and he had some interesting beliefs about truth, which you did not disagree with. He was given a lot. What you may not have liked about him was he was given a lot of leeway. He would sometimes just not show up for classes that he was teaching,
Yeah, that
and
would be
would add burden to some of the other professors that were there. But
Mhm.
he was somewhat of a celebrity, I think.
Yeah, he showed
Classes
up
are
at
really small because we're
fundraisers.
talking about wizards and like arcane casters. It's not even like so. To get into one of his classes was also a sign of prestige. You may
Okay.
not have. He represented some, but like the end of a career that, and whereas you were just getting your start out.
Did I have him as a teacher when I was a student?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hi, Chaga. You remember Professor Strom?
Oh yes. How could I forget? He's the one that claimed that that intelligent apes would have eaten me first because of how big I was.
That's not entirely unlikely.
Oh, yes, yes. Apparently, he fought a bunch of things called gorillans, four-armed ape creatures, but as smart as trolls.
That's smart enough.
I never really did like monkeys. That lecture gave me nightmares for about a week.
Yeah, monkeys is a bit too mischievous for my taste. Then again, look what we got running around our house. Alistair comes running around the corner.
It was also playing with the gorillan claw that he had in his classroom. Also, was an early indication to me that, well, the nightmares were not fabrications of my own mind, but imprints left behind by the monkey's paw, gorillan paw, to be more
Well, no, that
precise.
is fascinating. That's because your power at that time was misunderstood.
Yes, I, looking retrospect, looking back at things, I could have fostered it better if I knew I had it. The sorcery in my family must have come from my mother's side, certainly not from my father's. Although, Chagnaran the First might have known some sort of magic.
Well, he has a reputation.
Yes. How is Professor Strom doing?
He's up for review, and not in a good way, according to this.
In regards to the fate of Professor Hallmark Strom.
Now, one would assume they're referring to the fate of his career and not his well-being, given that it is only a fucking college. Still, I personally rather like the man and his classes, and would very much like to stick it to these stuck-up fucks that are doing this to him.
Well, the headmaster knows where you are.
Obviously, they wanted to cause harm, they could have.
The meeting looks like it's tomorrow night.
I plan on attending. You're an alum. You can come.
Oh, I suppose I could.
And of course, we could use a bodyguard. He's looking at Crackers.
Well, yes, out of all the... And Chuck is, like, looking at the back room and looking at where to Nizumi... Gracchus could be your +1.
There we go.
When are we going to this event?
That'd be tomorrow night, unless you're busy with your hacking and slashing.
I'm basically done with my training. I can spare some time now and come with you, of course.
All right,
I appreciate the invitation.
you're welcome. If everything goes as planned, you'll see some very angry wizards.
Not much forecasting myself.
We shall keep an edge to ourselves, however. We both are wanted in a sort of way.
In a sort of way, but
I highly doubt that my family would anticipate me taking a visit to the Annex. But you...
I've been back in months. Maybe we should bring the others. But, in a quiet way, fuck, where would we keep them?
What are the chances that this will be some form of trap?
I'm reckoning about 30%.
Understood.
Well, it's up to you, Barnabus. The more of those folks that we bring, the more embarrassing it may be. Grackle, at least, is well behaved. Surprisingly so for a hobgoblin, if you don't mind me saying.
Most of the hobgoblins that you have run into the city are not very sophisticated.
You're very well disciplined and well mannered. You could take those as compliments. You're sitting at a table of nobility.
Yes, well, the stock that is in the city is not very good.
Oh, interesting.
All right, then, the three of us.
Shall we go in style? Does anyone know how
The
to
carriage, that's a fine fucking idea, yeah.
Does anyone know how to drive a carriage?
You know what, we'll fucking hire someone, that's what we'll do. Hire someone for the fucking evening.
You fucking crash it down the hill.
Uh,
Easy come, easy go.
Chaga neither has handle animal nor ride.
Barnabas does not.
I've got handle animal. No, I've got ride. No handle of animals.
Okay.
I've got a good ride.
With a ride skill, you could. It'll be a little bit harder, but what's your total bonus?
+10.
Yeah, if you're not doing anything combative with it, you'll +10 is
Just
really good.
just going back and forth.
Yep. Yeah. Alternatively, we could hire Ghost and Junker to look after the carriage. Junker is a pretty good driver, from what I've seen.
And it wouldn't hurt having them on campus. Yeah, I like that idea.
Just have them hiding nearby.
Yep. That's fucking brilliant. That's what we're doing.
Very well. Oh, let me bring this here. Oh, Chaka packs Los's Los's funerary urn into a backpack. If anyone asks, I'm here for an opinion. He touches the top of it, and you can tell he's talking to Los, and then he kind of shivers a little bit. And, oh, yes. Don't quite get used to that, but... What?
Oh, he's an alum too, isn't he?
Yes, we'll bring Los, but I've told him that we'll only call him out in an emergency. I don't want to steal the spotlight, if you will.
Agreed.
Is Los tied to this thing? Like, how much time is he able to leave it during the day?
Los can come out whenever he wants. He's just limited in his range. He's been pushing it. He's been getting to about, 20 paces away from this urn.
Not too shabby.
Oh, yes. Los's story. I'll tell it to you on the way there.
Good. He's capable.
You can hear Ghost and Junker coming back into the tower as Ghost is chuckling about something. They wander into the room. They both stop when they see all of you looking at them.
What?
We got work for you. Not the high paying kind you like, but consider it a favour.
All right, for you, Barnabus? Sure.
Appreciate.
Yeah.
It is good to have you there. You are good to fight alongside.
I'm not that great at fighting myself. I need a new language for him, by the way.
I'm talking to them, actually, but, you are a good voice in fight.
Well, if we're going to bring all of them, we might as well bring all of them.
All right, they can wait in the fucking carriage.
You wait in the carriage.
They're all fucking small anyway.
Yeah.
Grackle's like, but, waiting.
Alistair will lock the cat named Dog into his room to guard the cauldron. He will come along. You will guide a hungover or drunk Mort, grab his armor and everything, and just chuck it into the back of the wagon. Ghost and Junker will ride up front. So what do you wish to know about Los? Los used to be, well, an acquaintance of ours. A schoolmate. He is noble.
Is there a reason you have not tried to bring him back?
Yeah, his body has been absconded with by his dead sister.
I apologize, I do not know much about the magics. I just know it is possible. I do not know what is required.
Yeah, well, given that we're not even entirely sure he's dead. He is a ghost. However, his corporeal form was, well, as I said, stolen by his sister before we really had an opportunity to determine the state he was in.
Have you tried this looking for it with your magic?
We don't have that magic. And quite frankly, his sister's a bit of a handful.
Wizard some type caster.
She was, yeah. We went to school with her as well.
Barnabus, our stories are similar. Barnabus pissed off a servitor family and was in debt to another servitor family by the name of the Urncasters. The Urncasters look after the graveyard. Los and I were invited for a birthday celebration by our respective families that was suspiciously located in the graveyard. Of course, there are some family statues and things, but it was a little suspicious. Suspicious enough that Los and I went to go have a look before the celebration. We found Barnabus down there and some creepy priests preparing for a ceremony. That's where we ran into Alistair. That was my home. Yes, Alistair was locked down there by his family for some reason. Chugga.
we're all thinking like we all know why.
They're gonna pay. Oh yes. Um,
Yes, of
the
course. Creepy child.
ceremony. Correct me if I'm wrong with any of this, Alistair, but the ceremony was to involve us to go into this, well, trial area. The trial area was actually sort of a ruse. You see, there were all these vases, kind of like the one that we have here, um, in which were the souls. We're not certain alive or dead, or undead, I suppose, of old members of the syndicate families. I believe that my great grandfather, Chagnaran the First, was down there. Los's, I think someone in Los's family that was important was also down there too. I think Los's sister had her soul displaced while down there, as she disappeared a number of years ago during a similar experience. What happens to our souls when we are shunted out, I do not know. Junker and Ghost found this funerary urn. It thankfully was empty. He pauses for a moment, puts his hand on top of the thing. According to Los, there is nothing else that dwells in there.
Now would be a shocking time to find that if it were otherwise.
Los was in a peculiar situation where his body had been invaded by the soul of his sister, the one that went missing. And, well, he did have a run in with a soul weakening white, and his sister decided, I suppose, to abscond with Los's body. Um, she cast a few spells and flew off. We were not in a position to stop her. Los's soul, dead or alive, although I believe he's dead,
I tend to concur.
was whisked into this urn instead of going to the place where souls go beyond. He's been with us ever since.
Hmm.
Well, as much as one does not want to lose their friend, well, Los's form is an interesting experience at least. At least he's still able to fight. Thank the gods we finally found him a sword.
Oh, fucking Christ, yeah.
Hmm.
It's about to dunk that fucking thing in holy water.
Yeah, your stories are
Since
sad.
then, we've been trying to avoid our families, as they obviously want to feed us to some horrible spirits, and, well, have sort of succeeded in the way of Los, not in the way they intended. The reason why my brother showed up is that he's the next strapping lad of our bloodline in our family. Curious that they need our own bloodlines. It may make the spirits feel more at home, I suppose. Less questions about inheritance. I'm not sure what the grand plan of this is. All I know is that for these ancient spirits to be wandering around in our bodies is, well, I imagine that they would do more evil than we would.
More than likely. Blood is a powerful binding agent when it comes to magic, though.
So,
Ghosts are normally bound to a thing, a place, a building. Los, in this aspect, is bound to this urn. An ancient urn, aren't you? Yes, you are old. Clay that was formed by hands a long, long time ago. A special urn.
Yeah.
Yes.
Interesting.
Los has been growing, I think. At first he was quite weak, and now he can wander 20 paces or so from the urn. If he finds himself beyond that, he simply whisks back into the urn and has to crawl back out of it, as he describes it. That's why you see me carrying it around.
I gathered that.
Yes. There are many of our enemies that were awfully surprised to see a ghost.
Yeah, it's awful handy having him around. You got to admit that.
Yes, he was quite useful in the first time you and we all met.
It was handy to have a ghost around.
Oh, come on now, Alistair. We like your hexes too.
Yeah,
Oh, your blinding of those hags was well timed.
Don't forget it. I'm the one that tipped the scales of victory. Me.
Yeah, sure, all right.
Yes, Alistair, it was you.
There we go.
Morton Gracchus had nothing to fucking do with it, what with all this smashing and slashing.
It takes a special person to do more than just hack and slash.
All right, relax. It was a team effort. You did your part, no question.
He sits there and
That is a good. You all work and fight very well together. I'm glad to be part.
yeah, I've never. Don't tell Los this, but I've never quite seen someone. His sword's more like poking a thing, and the blood comes out. I've never quite seen such violent precision before with something that hacks. It reminds me of my brothers when they butcher an animal. Though in a much more precise way.
Well, the form itself is very old, practiced through many generations and perfected through many battles and wars
Oh, yes.
and masters.
Hear that, Barnabus? Apparently we humans have a thing or two to learn from the Hob about swordplay.
Well, you're welcome to learn all you want. Swords are not my thing. Don't like fight. So,
No,
I wonder which race is older.
what, humans or
Hobgoblins, yeah.
on which world?
It's just in general. There's lots of worlds out there.
It's kind of hard to say.
I would say that the more sophisticated the knowledge they pass down, the older the culture is likely to be.
Oh, knowledge gets forgotten and lost. Empires rise and fall. You started on one world, we started on another. We kept moving and moving. Who can say?
So it goes dragons, elves.
Dragons, giants, elves.
Dragons, giants, elves. Interesting. Are you sure?
Yeah. Mark thinks so.
And then there's a big question mark. Is it gnomes? Dwarves? Certainly not halflings. Although I'm sure there are texts that the five-faced god, that the Whispers of the Five-Faced God produce say that Mandavar has always been there.
Yeah, they're all. How seriously you want to take them is another. He kind of stops talking like one of those. I should say no more.
All right, you guys arrive at the Founders College. There are other buildings in the annex. This one is the particular one where
Barnabus has an office,
Okay.
and
So you used to be professor here.
Oh, associate professor, not quite full rank professor, but yeah,
did you arrive early or late?
early.
Okay.
He wants to have a look around.
All right. Mark.
Maybe see if his office is undisturbed.
You were an associate professor, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
he probably shared an office with someone.
Yeah, which one of these shared bunks is yours? One of these you shared. This was like a private office for you to keep books and work quietly, and then there was a place for you to sleep.
How about this one here?
On the one in the corner? Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so Barnabas. This is Barnabas's quarters. You were in the back quarter. And who is the name of the associate professor that you had to share quarters with?
Murdrin.
Murderin? What?
No, Murdrin. Merdran.
Murders a lot.
But yes, we used to call her we used to call him Murdrin.
Murdrin. Okay.
Murdrin. Timber. Just Timber.
Okay. All right. You know the layout of this place. There are some other of the master's quarters. There are some offices and labs. In the front area, there is a large library. That would be the Founders College Library. There are meeting rooms and work rooms. Other laboratories off to the side. And the place that I'm leaving fogged for now is just there are two long tables, basically, where groups of people can meet.
Okay. Barnabas.
There is a front foyer. Are you pulling right up to the front and unloading, or are you unloading away from the place? Or you actually can see that there are lights on, lanterns lit, and there are some of the under wizards. Because when you have student wizards, you have a workforce that is forced to perform all sorts of tasks. You can see a couple of the under wizards in their college robes just standing outside.
All right. Barnabas will get out. He'll wait for Chaga and Grackle.
Okay.
Now the rest of you lot right here. There's snacks in the basket. If you get nippish, Alistair.
Ghost and Alistair are like climbing over themselves to get at the basket.
He's got a fucking... Oh, fuck him.
Is my sword allowed inside? Or will they ask me to leave it behind?
We'll see. You approach. Invitation only?
Yeah. He hands the invitation.
It's Darby, right?
Yeah, Barnabas Darby.
Professor Darby.
Is correct?
Yes. He looks at the three of you.
Oh, here's my +1 looking at Grackle. And Chaga here, isn't it? of the Dune family.
Okay. Alumni should be allowed inside. We'd ask you not to disturb the headmaster. He has a small gathering in the main hall. The library is open to alumni.
Wonderful.
Okay, one of the under wizards thinks he's doing you a favor. Like he's, who is this? You're +1.
Yeah. Yes, he is my caretaker, given my recent issues with my health.
Give me a bluff check.
Okay. Oh, I gotta check it. Oh, it's my bluff. That's my bluff.
Are you leaning on your walking game?
Yeah, yes, he is. Oh, next level, it's going to be up with my linguistics. But for right now, we're looking at a +10. $23.
Awfully well armed for an aide.
Jesus, it's fucking Southwall, lad.
All right.
Besides, it's a building full of wizards. What's a guy with a sword going to do?
He blinks for a moment, like seriously. Maybe he could leave his weapons at the front desk.
All right, he could do that, yeah.
Chaga isn't wearing his full plate. He only has his light chain shirt underneath. He did not
his
bring
war side.
no. All of his weapons and stuff are in the carriage. He's pretty certain that the 4 galoots that you left behind can guard some weapons.
All right, maybe go leave it with Morton then.
All right.
He is carrying a pouch of bullets, though. Chaga.
I'll go leave them my sword.
Okay. Do you entrust a particular person with your sword? Mort's passed out.
One's a lunatic, one's another type of lunatic, and one's another type of lunatic.
Ghost.
You could see Junker's sitting there. He's feeding a little tart to a rat. Ghost has finished wrestling the tray away from Alistair, or the basket away from Alistair, and is eating. Mort just looks like he's passed out still, and there's a tart sitting on his forehead. And Alistair's got his. They're like at the opposite ends of the carriage, fighting over.
Ghost, would you mind taking care of this until I return?
Yeah. Not letting you bring it in?
I'd rather have it here with you than inside with anyone else.
You need a magic bag.
Could be.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah, he turns tilts head. Yeah, I will buy that. Thank you.
They're expensive.
That's worth it.
If you buy it.
He smiles.
Just gotta wait on the road for adventurers. Someone will
If you find one that is discounted, let me know.
Sure thing. You don't use any magic?
No.
Okay, he goes back to eating. I just checked his equipment. If he had a magical bag, he would have offered it to you. He does carry a magical efficient quiver, but it's probably not going to work very well. All right, yeah, he takes your sword. He just puts it beside him while he's eating. You wince a little bit as a little bit of like jelly stuff on his hand went onto the scabbard of the sword when he grabbed it and put it down. walking back, shaking your head a little bit. Thank you. Go ahead in. There's a place for you to sign in. You can see just a lot of wizard sigils that have been burned in there. Let's see if any of you have arc. I haven't done this in a while. And you're muted, Mark.
Grackle will just
Sorry, I'm muted. Yeah, Barnabas has it as well. He does the same thing.
Okay.
Grackle will just sign.
Yep.
If he's asked to.
Okay, you notice the two wizards. They said a quiet word amongst themselves, and they're grinning, like little chuckling under their breath a little bit.
Well, I'll cut your fucking feet off.
They repeat to Chaga. The headmaster is meeting with some of the professors and a few others. Please do not disturb them, alumnus Dune. Oh, don't worry. I'm just going to peruse the library, says Chaga as he's got the big bag out with the just as the head of the funerary urn sticking out, like he's there to do some research. They don't really question. Chaga gets to the library area. They don't say anything to Grackle.
Okay.
After making their joke.
I'm just going to make a quick look in my office, see if I was working on a dissertation before I left.
Oh, yes. Do you need any help in collecting your things?
Nah. I took most of my things with me when I left to serve the Urncasters. Just a few papers I'd like to keep.
There is with my... Let me know if there's anything heavy you need to carry. Between this new belt and the muleback cords, I could carry quite a bit.
Oh, good to know.
Chaga's heavy load is 700 right now.
Holy crap.
Building an Adam, are we?
No, it's just muleback cords. You get to treat your strength as 8 higher.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Okay,
wow.
Chaga's going to just go into the library and set Los's urn down and camp out for a bit. I'll be in here.
Grackle, you can sit with him or come with me. Whatever you want. We got a few.
I will, It is good to throw off your,
Okay, you can hear some
enemy.
some under wizards talking. There's a flurry of activity. It looks like some of them are clearing tables and setting things up when you round the corner.
Okay.
Professor Dobby. Yes, one of them doesn't know who you are, and the other one recognized you. The headmaster, you're a bit early.
Yeah, I'm here to check, get some things from my room.
Okay. They exchange glances. One guy kind of asks, like without actually saying, like, "Who is that?" kind of thing. There's a bunch of gossip amongst the under wizards, basically.
You haven't fucking heard of me?
No, it's this guy.
No, I'm the associate professor who last year knocked a student's fucking teeth out for talking under his breath in my fucking class.
Oh, this is Abe. He's new. First year.
And how are you liking the college, Abe?
He doesn't want his teeth knocked out.
I think he's speaking under his breath.
I imagine with that sort of status, casting spells is somewhat difficult for you, but I'm sure if you keep working at it, it'll come around.
There's a snicker from the quiet one at the back that's learned it's probably best just not to talk. Yeah, he's in first year, Professor. You know how it is.
How are your studies going?
Fine, I am in third year.
Wonderful. Your grades?
Good, sir?
Good. Good lad.
B minus, he says.
Oh, fucking hell. Do I remember this kid, or?
Yeah, it's just, yeah. I don't know if you want a name. This guy's name is Abe.
Nah, I don't need a name. We'll call him.
And give me an int check to see if you remember his name.
I get to double my int for memory stuff.
Cool.
And so. Got a 30.
Yeah, that's one thing about having a big brain is that you don't forget details.
Yeah, his name's Sander.
Sander? Okay.
Yeah. Sander, your trouble is you get caught up in the details and miss the big picture. And while that's fine, especially from a magic standpoint, because that's what you're going to need, but you need to see the whole thing and bring it up to the end.
He nods slightly.
All right. You lads have fun.
If you call casting cantrips 40 times fun, Professor.
Practice, practice.
Oh, you can see them prestidigitating every inch of the table to kind of clean it off.
It's the magical version of wax on, wax off, wax on, wax off. All right. Barnabus, he's doing that thing where he's walking slowly and looking all around like memories.
Yep. You can see that there are some like magical frames that kind of every once in a while change to a different magical beast. Like they're almost like teaching devices.
Yeah.
You easily get to your quarters. You wonder if they've changed the arcane lock on here. It is a particular word.
He tries the word.
Okay, it looks like they have not.
Okay, there we go.
Murdrin Timber it looks like he's not there. His bed is made, and his quarters are neat. Yours look like they've been cleaned somewhat. You know that Murdrin is quite
a neat freak.
You remember just grabbing things in a hurry, and the papers that you probably scattered all over the floor are just sort of in a pile on your desk.
Okay, he goes through his papers and looking through like stuff that would be important to him.
Okay. Given that Barnabus kind of came from a bit of money, give me a D3.
Yep. 3.
Okay. You're going to find a second level scroll.
Nice.
Yoink.
2 second level scrolls. And a potion. All right, so things that you left behind include a scroll of mirror image, caster level 3.
Okay. That's actually very nice.
Your main level is Bard, right?
Yes, that is my main level. Okay, got the scroll of mirror image.
Just looking at the Bard list of spells.
Oh.
a scroll of blur, caster level 3.
Okay.
And the minor potion is a potion of true strike. For whatever reason, you forgot to open a drawer in your haste, and there were some combat items that were in there.
Okay.
You find some old syllabuses, some papers that you never ended up grading.
Okay.
You do find a masterwork writing set, like a writing kit, basically.
Cool.
If you plunder your own.
Is your friend supposed to be missing?
Your bed. You never make it, but somebody did. They even tucked in the sheets. And you notice that sitting kind of near the pillow of the bed, just in the middle, is a old, very squat, very thick book. You don't recognize the book from across the room.
Okay, he goes and checks the book.
Okay. The book is quite old, but it is sturdily constructed. The smell of it just tells you that it came from somebody's personal collection. There's a heavy binding. The brownish leather is strange, and there is a tinge of almost like a mahogany meets sulfur.
Okay. Open it up.
Okay.
What's the title of this book?
The title of the book is called "The Debt Is Due."
Okay.
What language is the book written in?
The book is, you kind of like peek over his shoulder, is written in Imperial Common, but it does have some parts of it are illegible to Grackle. Let me check your languages, Grackle.
Nagaji Draconic Goblin. I have another language I need to learn. I just didn't
Okay,
write it down yet.
it is illegible. It's like the numbering and some of the titles of the chapters are in a different language, in the same way like Latin might be used in an English book kind of thing, or Roman numerals perhaps. But you, Grackle, you do not recognize this language just from a quick glance, and then we're going to see Barnabas's languages. It's Infernal.
Okay.
There is a small note just inside. It says, "Read me." It's on a little piece of parchment.
Well, this is clearly for me. He looks at Gracchus. You know, I normally don't accept gifts from strangers, but this year's the smell of the book. Oh, I swear, it's like a nice cigar. He inhales like the book.
Yep.
That's what a book should smell like. Yeah, I'll read you.
There is a name in the inside of a book where people may like actually write like who owns the book.
Mm-hmm. What is the name?
The owner of the book is Hollowmark Strom. You just see an HS, but you'd recognize that HS anywhere.
Okay.
This book is from his library or his collection.
Is it Hallmark or Hollowmark?
Hollowmark.
Okay. It's a gift from my friend. who I happen to be here to defend.
All right.
He just checks the rest of his stuff to make sure.
There's not much left. Like, this is...
Well, I gotta let Murdrin know I was here. He takes all of his bedding and just strips it off his bed and stuffs it in his desk, and takes all the stuff from his desk and puts it on the on the bed.
Okay, you can almost picture Murdrin helping his unseen servant out because it was doing it wrong.
Yeah. All right, that's it for here. Now, I got a lot of good memories in this place. I can't tell you how many times I've pissed out that fucking window. Half in a sack.
Good times.
You ever? No, not you.
No.
You should get really, really drunk with me sometime, and we will have a great time together. I promise you.
Yeah, all right. Perhaps when not many people are trying to kill you guys.
No one trying to kill me today, which is a pleasant change from the
That is
first 6 months of the year.
good.
Okay, you can hear from down the hallway the murmur of more people gathering.
All right, let's see what's going on, shall we?
Am I still your physician or caretaker?
Caretaker, you're my fucking caretaker.
Caretaker. All right, caretaker.
Okay. Oh no, it's Moira.
Oh, fuck off. He's like looking for the door. What he's
Okay, Professor Moira, she has a really bizarre collection of magic items that she wears all the time.
I'm assuming a mask is one of them.
She's an expert in like identification,
Okay.
certain types of divination, and she really likes magic items from other cultures. She's really odd though. You you see that she, for some reason, she's standing in the hallway gazing into one of the magical frames,
Okay.
and like they cycle, like they don't go very deep. This is knowledge she should probably have, but she seems to be really interested in the magical frame for some reason, and the contents. Currently, she's looking at a. Oh, I don't know. You're too far away to tell.
Yeah. All right. Let's just walk by quietly, and maybe she won't fucking notice us. Trying to
Okay.
sneak by.
Peculiar, she says as you
Ah,
approach.
fuck.
I wonder how they got an image of a basilisk. Aren't basilisks dangerous to look at?
No, they're not dangerous to look at. They're dangerous when they look at you.
Yes, of course. This one has 3 spines. The one yesterday had 2.
Well, seems you've all been growing in our own ways then. How are you, Professor Mora?
You've been gone for a time. I didn't
Yeah,
know you were on sabbatical.
leave of absence, so I filled out the paperwork.
There's a hobgoblin behind you.
Yeah, he is my caretaker.
Ah,
My health is taking a turn for the worse.
you are nothing without your health. Well, that and magic.
All right, well, we got to go. It was a pleasure.
This cockatrice is blue, she says.
Yeah. He's like, walk away.
I wonder why this one is blue. Okay, you
No.
You
I
avoid.
had to take an entire fucking class with that woman about magical beasts. Can you imagine what that was fucking like?
This would explain plenty.
One of the lessons that she always gave is that many items are constructed with hints to their function, and then even deeper is some of the